The massive council hall on Zentari Prime buzzed with voices from 100 different species. Ambassador Yan Wu sat in the small human section, watching the other delegates ignore him completely. This was normal. For 20 years, humans had been the galaxy's forgotten children, too weak to matter, too small to fear. Yan Wu adjusted his simple black suit and looked around the room. The tall, blue-skinned Altarians talked loudly about their new trade routes. The insect-like Vex representatives clicked their mandibles as they discussed mining rights. The crystalline Zephyrians sang their musical language about energy contracts. Nobody looked at the human corner. Taemin, the military officer assigned to the human delegation, sat beside Yan Wu. He was younger, maybe 35, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Today those eyes looked worried. His communication device had been buzzing for the last hour, but he waited for the right moment to check it. So-Ra, their communications expert, worked quietly at her console. She monitored all the chatter between the different species, translating and recording everything. Most days she found nothing interesting. The galaxy's politics moved slowly, and humans were rarely mentioned. The Galactic Council had 47 member species. Humans were number 47. They had joined last, contributed least, and commanded no respect. Other species saw them as primitive newcomers who had barely learned to travel between stars. This was exactly what Earth wanted them to think. Chancellor Veltara, a massive creature with 6 arms and golden skin, called for order. The hall fell silent. Today's agenda was simple: trade disputes, border agreements, and resource allocation. The same boring topics that had occupied the Council for centuries. The Vex Dominion requests permission to expand mining operations in Sector 47, announced Commander Minseo, her black eyes gleaming. The Vex were one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. When they wanted something, they usually got it. Yan Wu knew Sector 47 well. It contained 3 human colonies: New Seoul, Busan Station, and Jeju Outpost. Together, they housed nearly 5 million humans. The Vex request meant trouble. The area contains inhabited worlds, Yan Wu said, standing slowly. His voice was calm and professional. Human colonies have been there for 15 years. Commander Minseo looked at him like he was an annoying insect. The colonies are small and inefficient. The Vex can extract resources worth trillions of credits from those systems. Human presence is blocking galactic progress. Those worlds are home to 5 million people, Yan Wu replied. They have families, businesses, entire communities. Humans can relocate, said Chancellor Veltara dismissively. The Vex proposal benefits the entire galaxy. Human concerns are noted but not significant. Taemin's device buzzed again, more urgently this time. He glanced at it quickly and went completely pale. His hands started shaking. Sora noticed and leaned over to look at the screen. Her face went white too. Yan Wu was still arguing with the council when Taemin grabbed his arm. "Sir, we need to leave. Now." "I'm not finished here," Yan Wu whispered back. "Sir, New Seoul is gone," Taemin said quietly. "Busan Station too. They're all gone." The words hit Yan Wu like a physical blow. He looked at Taemin's screen and saw the emergency reports flooding in. Attack fleets had hit all 3 colonies simultaneously. The orbital defenses had been destroyed in minutes. Cities had been bombed from space. Millions of people were dead or missing. The attacking ships used Vex technology, Sora whispered, reading over their shoulders. The energy signatures matched their military vessels exactly. Yan Wu looked up at Commander Minseo. She was smiling slightly, her black eyes cold and satisfied. The other delegates continued their discussions, completely unaware that 3 human worlds had just been wiped out. Chancellor Veltara, Yan Wu said loudly, interrupting the current speaker. "I demand an immediate emergency session. Human colonies in Sector 47 have been attacked." The Chancellor's 6 arms gestured dismissively. "Such matters can be addressed in regular session next month. We are currently discussing Zephyrian energy contracts. 5 million people are dead or dying right now," Yan Wu said, his voice rising. "This attack happened during official council proceedings. It was planned and coordinated. Humans often exaggerate threats," said the Altarian representative. "Perhaps it was merely pirates or raiders." Commander Minseo spoke up. "The Vex Dominion has no knowledge of any attacks in that sector. If human colonies were struck, it was likely due to their inadequate defenses." Yan Wu stared at her. The lie was so bold, so obvious that it took his breath away. She was openly admitting to the attack while denying it at the same time. Taemin was reading more reports. Sir, the attack patterns show military precision. Multiple fleets, coordinated timing, specific targeting of defense installations first. This wasn't pirates. This was a full military operation. I formally request an investigation, Yanwu announced to the council. The evidence clearly shows— Your request is noted, Chancellor Velterra interrupted. Investigation requests require a formal committee review process. That takes approximately 6 months. 6 months? People are dying right now. Human emotional responses are understood but not relevant to council procedures, the Chancellor replied. Now shall we continue with the Zephyrian contracts? Hyunwoo stood there looking around the room. Every alien face showed the same expression. Complete indifference. They didn't care about human lives. They had probably approved the attack in advance. The Vex wanted Sector 47, and the council was letting them take it. Sora was frantically working at her console, sending encrypted messages back to Earth. The quantum communication array would carry the news across hundreds of light years instantly. Earth's government would know about the attacks within minutes. Taemin pulled up tactical displays on his device. The attacking fleets had been massive, far larger than necessary to defeat small colonial defenses. This was meant to send a message. Humans were expendable. We're leaving, Hyunwoo told his team. There's nothing more we can accomplish here. As they gathered their materials, Commander Minseo approached. Ambassador Hyunwoo, the Vex Dominion offers its condolences for your losses. Perhaps now humans will understand their proper place in galactic affairs. Hyunwoo looked directly into her black eyes. Commander, you have made a terrible mistake today. She laughed, a harsh clicking sound. Humans making threats? How amusing. What could your primitive species possibly do to the Vex Dominion? Hyunwoo didn't answer. He simply turned and walked away. Behind him, the Galactic Council continued their discussions about energy contracts and trade routes. None of them seemed concerned about the 5 million humans who had died for the crime of existing in the wrong star system. But as the human delegation left the council chambers, Sora's communication array was already carrying their final message back to Earth. It was short and simple. They think we're weak. Show them otherwise. On Earth, in deep bunkers beneath mountains and oceans, that message was being read by people who had been waiting decades for this exact moment. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength had always been their ability to be underestimated. Deep beneath the mountains of Earth, Admiral Junho walked through corridors that officially didn't exist. The Terran Defense Command bunker stretched for kilometers underground, hidden from satellite scans and alien sensors. For 30 years, this facility had been preparing for one specific day. Today was that day. The message from Zentari Prime had arrived 6 hours ago. 3 colonies destroyed, 5 million civilians dead, and the Galactic Council treating it like a minor paperwork problem. Admiral Junho had read the report 3 times, then sent out a single coded message. Operation Hammer begins now. Captain Da-Yun stood at attention as the Admiral entered the main briefing room. She was young for a starship captain, only 42, but she had trained her entire adult life for this moment. Behind her, a massive holographic display showed the outline of a ship so large it defied imagination. Captain, is the Retribution ready for deployment? Admiral Junho asked. Yes, sir. All systems are operating at full capacity. The crew has been on standby for weeks. Engineer Wu Jin looked up from his technical displays. Admiral, the fusion cores are stable, shield generators are at maximum power, and all weapon systems are armed and tested. We could launch within 4 hours. The UES Retribution was humanity's greatest secret and most terrible weapon. 12 kilometers long, 3 kilometers wide, and packed with technology that made alien warships look like children's toys. The galaxy had spent centuries perfecting elegant, efficient spacecraft. Humans had built something designed purely to destroy. Dr. Unji cleared her throat. Admiral, I must remind you that deploying the Retribution will change everything. Once the galaxy sees what we've built, there's no going back to being ignored. Admiral Junho nodded. Doctor, the galaxy has already made their choice. They attacked our civilians and laughed about it. Now they get to see what humans do when pushed too far. The holographic display shifted, showing technical specifications that would have terrified any alien engineer. The Retribution's main guns could punch holes through planets. Its armor could withstand direct hits from entire fleet formations. Its shields used technology based on principles the galaxy hadn't even discovered yet. How did we build something like this without anyone noticing? Captain Daun asked. Engineer Wu Jin smiled grimly. The same way we've done everything else. We let them think we were stupid and primitive while we worked in secret. Every mining operation in the asteroid belt was actually a weapons factory. Every research station was developing new military technology. Dr. Yunji pulled up psychological profiles of the major alien species. The galaxy's biggest weakness is arrogance. They evolved past large-scale warfare thousands of years ago. They've forgotten what it means to face an enemy that actually wants to destroy them. Their ships are built for exploration, trade, and small conflicts, Engineer Wu Jin explained. Beautiful designs, very efficient, completely useless in real combat. They're like sports cars trying to fight a battle tank. Admiral Junho studied the tactical displays. Captain Da-un, I want you to understand your mission clearly. You're not going to Zentari Prime to negotiate or make threats. You're going to demonstrate exactly what human engineering can accomplish. What about civilian casualties? Captain Da-un asked. Avoid them completely. This isn't about revenge against innocent people. It's about showing the galaxy's military and political leaders that their assumptions about humanity were catastrophically wrong. The briefing room filled with other senior officers. Commander Sung Ho, the weapons specialist who had designed most of the Retribution's armament. Lelty Commander Young Sik, the communications expert who would broadcast humanity's message to the entire galaxy. Dr. He Wan, the medical officer who would coordinate rescue operations for alien survivors. The plan is simple, Admiral Junho began. The Retribution will arrive at Zentari Prime in exactly 72 hours. Captain Da-Yun will offer the Galactic Council one chance to surrender and face justice for their crimes. When they refuse, she will demonstrate why that was a mistake. Engineer Wu Jin brought up power consumption charts. Sir, at full combat readiness, the Retribution uses more energy in 1 hour than most planets consume in a year. The fusion cores can maintain that level for weeks if necessary. What about their fleets? Asked Commander Sung Ho. Intelligence reports show they have over 300 ships defending Zentari Prime. Dr. Yunji laughed bitterly. Their largest warship is 800 meters long. The Retribution is 15 times bigger and infinitely more advanced. It would be like sending wooden sailing ships against a modern aircraft carrier. Captain Da-Yun reviewed the crew assignments. Admiral, I have 40,000 people under my command. The alien fleets combined have maybe 50,000 crew members total. Are we really going to fight those odds? Captain, you're thinking about this wrong, Admiral Junho replied. This isn't a fair fight. Fair fights are what we had on Earth for thousands of years, and they killed millions of people. This is what happens when one side has overwhelming technological superiority. The tactical displays showed every major alien warship in the galaxy, elegant Altarian cruisers with their crystal hulls, Vex destroyers with their razor-sharp edges, Cephirian energy ships that looked like floating sculptures. All of them beautiful, graceful, and completely inadequate for what was coming. The aliens made one critical mistake, Dr. Yunji explained. They assumed that because humans seemed primitive, we actually were primitive. They never considered that we might be hiding our true capabilities. Engineer Wu Jin pulled up historical data. For 30 years, we've been selling them basic technology while claiming it was our best work. Simple fusion reactors, basic shield generators, primitive weapon systems. They thought that represented peak human engineering. Meanwhile, we were studying their technology, learning their weaknesses, and building something they couldn't even imagine, added Commander Xiang Ho. Every trade deal, every technology exchange, every diplomatic meeting was intelligence gathering. Admiral Junho stood up. Gentlemen, ladies, what we do in the next week will determine humanity's place in the galaxy for centuries to come. We can remain the ignored, expendable species that gets wiped out whenever convenient, or we can become the power that ensures no one ever attacks human civilians again. Captain Da-Un checked her chronometer. Admiral, if we launch in 4 hours, we'll arrive at Zentari Prime during their main council session. Maximum psychological impact, perfect. Captain, you have full authorization to use whatever force is necessary. Show them that humanity's patience has limits. Dr. Heywan raised her hand. Sir, what about diplomatic consequences? The galaxy will never trust us again. Doctor, they don't trust us now. They just attacked 3 of our colonies and murdered 5 million people. Trust was never an option. Fear and respect, however, are achievable goals. The briefing ended and the senior staff dispersed to their stations. Admiral Junho remained behind, staring at the holographic display of the Retribution. 30 years of secret construction, trillions of credits in hidden spending, and the careers of thousands of the best engineers, scientists, and military officers humanity had ever produced, all for this moment. In 4 hours, the galaxy would see what humans had really been building, while everyone assumed they were just playing with simple technology. The Retribution would emerge from hyperspace above Centauri Prime, and everything would change forever. The age of human weakness was about to end. Fleet Admiral Kexnara had commanded military forces for 40 years. She had fought pirates, settled border disputes, and maintained peace throughout 3 star systems. She had never faced anything like the human warship hanging above Centauri Prime. All ships maintained defensive formation. She broadcast to the combined fleet, "Do not fire unless fired upon." 300 vessels from 12 different species formed a protective barrier around the planet. It was the largest military force in galactic history. Altarian cruisers with their crystal hulls gleamed in the starlight. Vex destroyers showed their razor-sharp edges. Zephyrian energy ships hummed with contained power. Against the UES Retribution, they looked like insects facing a giant. Captain Da-Un studied the alien formations from her bridge. The enemy fleet was impressive by galactic standards, but human standards were different. "Communications. Open a channel to all vessels." Young Six Fingers moved across his console. "Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Da-Un of the UES Retribution. You have one opportunity to withdraw your forces and surrender those responsible for the attack on human colonies. You have 10 minutes to comply." The response came immediately from Admiral Kexnara. "Captain, we cannot simply surrender our allies without due process. The Galactic Council has procedures. Admiral, your procedures allowed the murder of 5 million innocent people. Your procedures have failed. You now face the consequences." Commander Minseo's voice cut across the communications channel. "Human vessel, the Vex Dominion does not surrender to primitive species. Your single ship cannot defeat the combined might of the galaxy." Captain Da-Un looked at her weapons officer. "Commander Sung-Ho, show them why they're wrong." The Retribution's weapon systems had been designed by the finest human engineers over 3 decades. They represented everything humanity had learned about destruction and applied it with ruthless efficiency. Target the Vex Destroyer, Blade of Victory. Disable their weapons and engines only. We're not here to commit murder. Yes, Captain. Targeting solutions locked. The Retribution's main gun fired once. The energy beam that lanced out from the human warship was visible across the entire star system. It struck the Vex Destroyer with precision that defied belief, instantly vaporizing the weapon systems and engine compartments while leaving the crew quarters untouched. The Blade of Victory went dark and began drifting helplessly through space. "What just happened?" demanded Admiral Kexnara over the communication channel. Engineer Wu Jin provided the answer from his station. "Admiral, we fired one shot at minimum power. The Vex Destroyer is disabled but intact. Their crew is unharmed." "Minimum power?" "Yes, Admiral. That was approximately 1% of our main gun's capability." The silence that followed lasted nearly 30 seconds. Every crew member in the alien fleet was staring at their sensor readings, trying to understand what they had just witnessed. Captain Da-Un's voice filled the silence. "You have 9 minutes remaining." Commander Minseo's panicked voice came over the comm. "All ships attack immediately. Destroy the human vessel before it can fire again." The alien fleet opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams, plasma bolts, missile salvos, and kinetic projectiles filled space around the Retribution. The combined firepower of 300 warships struck the human vessel simultaneously. The Retribution's shields absorbed the entire attack without even flickering. "Damage report," Captain Da-Un requested calmly. Engineer Wu Jin checked his readings. "No damage, Captain. Shield strength remains at 100%. The alien weapons generated approximately 12% of the energy required to breach our defensive systems." Dr. Yunji looked up from her science station. "Captain, their weapons are designed for conflicts between similar technological levels. They've never encountered anything built specifically to withstand massive firepower." The alien fleet fired again, concentrating their attacks on single points across the Retribution's hull. The result was identical. Their most powerful weapons could not even strain the human ship's defenses. Admiral Kexnara realized the terrible truth. All ships cease fire. We're not even scratching their hull. Captain Daeun allowed the aliens a few moments to understand their situation. Then she gave her next order. Weapons Officer Sung Ho, demonstrate our full capability. Target every enemy vessel simultaneously. Disable only, no kills. Yes, Captain. All targets acquired. The Retribution had 64 main guns, each capable of destroying a planet. Against the alien fleet, Commander Sung Ho used them like surgical instruments, precisely targeting specific systems on each enemy ship. What followed was not a battle. It was a technical demonstration. 64 energy beams fired simultaneously, each one striking a different target. Altarian cruisers lost their crystal hulls and drifted powerless. Vex destroyers had their weapon systems vaporized. Zephyrian energy ships went dark as their power cores were surgically removed. In 12 seconds, the galaxy's most powerful fleet was reduced to helpless scrap. Medical teams, prepare for rescue operations, Captain Daeun ordered. Dr. Hae-Won had been ready for this moment. Captain, launching rescue shuttles now. We'll recover all survivors and provide medical assistance. Throughout the disabled fleet, alien crews sat in darkness and emergency lighting, trying to understand what had happened to them. Their ships were intact enough to maintain life support, but completely unable to fight or flee. Admiral Kexnara's flagship was among the disabled vessels. Her communications array still functioned, allowing her to speak with the human captain. Captain Daeun, we surrender, completely and unconditionally. Admiral, your surrender is accepted. Our medical teams are en route to assist your wounded. On Zentari Prime, Chancellor Veltara watched the battle from her command center. In 12 minutes, the combined might of galactic civilization had been casually swatted aside by a single human warship. Get me a direct line to the human vessel, she ordered her communication staff. Channel open, Chancellor. Captain Daeun, this is Chancellor Veltara of the Galactic Council. We wish to negotiate. Chancellor, the time for negotiation has passed. You will immediately surrender all personnel involved in planning and executing the attack on human colonies. You will provide full reparations to the families of the victims, and you will acknowledge humanity as an equal member of the galactic community. Captain, surely we can discuss terms. Chancellor, look at your orbital defense grid. Look at your fleet. Look at the most powerful military force your species have ever assembled. We destroyed it all in 12 minutes without suffering a single casualty. These are not negotiations. These are the terms of your surrender. The truth was undeniable. The humans had revealed capabilities that made every other species look like children playing with toy weapons. Their single ship outclassed entire star fleets. Dr. Yoonji provided additional context from her science station. Chancellor, human military doctrine is based on overwhelming force applied precisely. We could have destroyed every ship in your fleet along with everyone aboard. Instead, we disabled them and are now rescuing your crews. This demonstrates both our capability and our restraint. Engineer Wu Jin added his own message. Chancellor, what you've seen today is one ship operating at minimal combat readiness. Earth has been building a fleet. The Retribution is not unique. The implications were staggering. If humans had built multiple ships like the Retribution, they could dominate the entire galaxy. Captain Daeun's rescue shuttles were already bringing alien survivors aboard the Retribution. Human medical teams worked alongside alien doctors, providing treatment and demonstrating that Earth's advanced technology extended beyond weapons. Chancellor, you have 1 hour to provide your answer, Captain Daeun announced. Accept our terms, or face the consequences of continued resistance. The communication channel went silent. Throughout the Zentari system, the wreckage of 300 warships drifted in space, their crews rescued by the same humans who had defeated them. The galaxy had learned a harsh lesson about the dangers of underestimating humanity. The age of human subservience was over. The Galactic Council chambers had never been so quiet. Chancellor Veltara looked around the room at representatives from 47 species, all staring at their personal displays, showing the wreckage of their combined fleet floating above Zentari Prime. Ambassador Hyun-woo entered the chamber exactly 1 hour after Captain Daeun's ultimatum. He walked with confidence now, no longer the ignored representative of a minor species. Behind him, Taemin and Sora carried recording equipment that would broadcast this moment across the galaxy. Chancellor Veltara, Hyunwoo began, his voice carrying clearly through the silent hall. Have you reached a decision? The Chancellor's 6 golden arms trembled slightly. Ambassador, the Galactic Council accepts Earth's terms. We surrender unconditionally. A murmur ran through the chamber. Species that had dominated galactic politics for millennia were now subject to human authority. The power structure of the entire galaxy had shifted in a single day. Excellent, Hyunwoo replied. Let's discuss the details. Above the planet, Captain Da-Yoon received word of the Council's surrender. All stations stand down from combat readiness. Maintain defensive posture only. Admiral Jun Ho appeared on the main screen via quantum communication from Earth. Captain, congratulations on a successful operation. Phase 1 is complete. Thank you, Admiral. What are your orders for Phase 2? Establish permanent human presence in key systems throughout the galaxy. The retribution will be the first of many. It's time the galaxy understood that human protection comes with human oversight. Engineer Wu Jin looked up from his station. Admiral, shall I begin broadcasting the technical specifications of our fleet construction program? Yes, Engineer. Let them know that the Retribution has 7 sister ships currently under construction. The galaxy needs to understand that this is our new normal, not a special occasion. The news spread across galactic networks within hours. Humanity had not only revealed devastating military capability, but was actively expanding it. The species that had been dismissed as primitive newcomers were now the galaxy's dominant power. In the council chambers, Commander Min Seo sat in restraints, awaiting transfer to human custody. The other Vex officers involved in planning the colony attacks had been arrested. They would face trial under human law for crimes against humanity. The Vex Dominion protests this treatment, Commander Min Seo said defiantly. We are a sovereign species with our own legal system. Ambassador Hyunwoo looked at her with mild interest. Commander, sovereignty requires the ability to defend your territory and protect your people. The Vex Dominion demonstrated today that they possess neither capability. Admiral Kexnara, rescued from her disabled flagship, attended the council session as an observer. Ambassador, may I ask what humanity intends for the rest of us? Admiral, Earth has no interest in conquest or subjugation. We want peaceful coexistence based on mutual respect. The difference is that respect will now be genuine, not condescending tolerance. Dr. Yoonji had spent the last day analyzing galactic psychology and social structures. Her report to the council was enlightening. For centuries, your species have maintained peace through political balance and economic pressure. This worked because you were all roughly equal in capability. Introducing a significantly superior military force changes everything. You're threatening us, accused the Altarian representative. No, replied Hyunwoo. We're explaining reality. Humanity spent 30 years being ignored, dismissed, and finally attacked. We will never be weak again. Chancellor Veltara attempted to salvage some dignity from the situation. Ambassador, surely we can establish a new balance of power. The council system has maintained peace for. Chancellor, the council system allowed the murder of 5 million humans and called it a minor inconvenience. That system has failed and will be replaced. The replacement was already being implemented. Captain Da-Eun had established human naval stations in 12 key star systems. Each station was defended by ships that made the Retribution look small. Humanity was not just announcing their presence, they were making it permanent. Engineer Wu Jin's broadcasts about Earth's military capabilities had caused panic throughout the galaxy. The humans had been building not just individual ships but entire fleets. Weapons factories in asteroid belts, shield generators powered by artificial black holes, and defensive systems that could protect entire planets. How did we miss all of this? Asked the Zephyrian representative, her musical voice filled with confusion. Sora answered from her position at the communication station. Because we wanted you to miss it. Every human diplomatic mission, every trade negotiation, every cultural exchange was designed to make us appear harmless and primitive. Dr. Haewon had completed her analysis of the rescued alien crews. Ambassador, I can report that all enemy personnel have been treated according to galactic conventions for prisoners of war. We've provided full medical care and comfortable accommodations. This detail was important. Humanity wanted the galaxy to understand that their overwhelming power came with moral restraint. They could have killed everyone but chose mercy instead. What happens now? Asked Admiral Kex Nara. Ambassador Hyun Woo stood at the center of the council chambers, no longer relegated to the minor species section. Now we rebuild galactic civilization on a foundation of actual equality. No more dismissing species as primitive or irrelevant. No more allowing powerful nations to attack weaker ones without consequences. Taemin provided the military perspective. The human fleet will patrol trade routes, protect colonies, and ensure that no species uses military force against civilian populations. This galaxy will have peace, but it will be peace enforced by human weapons. And if we refuse to accept human authority? Asked the Vex representative. Captain Da-un's voice came over the communication system from the Retribution. Then you'll face the same fate as your fleet did yesterday. The choice is yours, but the consequences are not negotiable. Over the following weeks, the new galactic order took shape. Human naval bases appeared in every major star system. Trade routes that had been dominated by powerful species were opened to all members. Conflicts that had simmered for decades were resolved by human arbitrators backed by overwhelming force. The species that had once controlled galactic politics found themselves adapting to a new reality. Humans were not cruel masters, but they were absolute ones. Disputes were settled fairly, but according to human standards of fairness. Chancellor Veltara met privately with Ambassador Hyun Woo after the formal ceremonies. Ambassador, I must ask, did humanity plan this from the beginning? Hyun Woo considered the question carefully. Chancellor, we plan to defend ourselves and seek justice for our people. Everything else was your choice. You could have revealed your capabilities years ago. And achieved what? You would have seen us as a threat to be eliminated rather than victims to be ignored. This way was better. The galaxy settled into its new normal. Human ships patrolled the space lanes, human arbitrators resolved disputes, and human technology gradually raised the standard of living for everyone. The species that had attacked Earth's colonies learned to appreciate the mercy they had been shown. Commander Minseo, serving her sentence in a human detention facility, was asked by a journalist what she had learned from the experience. I learned that humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, she replied. Not because they're cruel or violent, but because they're patient. They waited 30 years for the right moment to reveal their strength. That kind of strategic thinking terrifies me. Admiral Junho's final report to Earth was simple. Mission accomplished. The galaxy now understands that humanity is not to be underestimated. Our colonies are safe, our people are respected, and our enemies have become our reluctant allies. The age of human weakness was over forever. In its place rose an era where Earth's children walked among the stars as equals, backed by the quiet promise that anyone who threatened human lives would face the terrible swift sword of human justice. The galaxy had stopped cold when Earth's warship blotted out the skies. It would never make that mistake again. 3 days after the attack on human colonies, life on Centauri Prime had returned to normal. The Galactic Council was discussing trade regulations. Commander Minseo was celebrating her successful operation with expensive alien wine, and nobody was thinking about the 5 million dead humans. That changed at exactly 1427 local time. The first sign was the sensors. Every detection grid in the system started screaming warnings about an incoming hyperspace signature. The energy readings were impossible. No ship in galactic history had ever generated that much power while traveling between stars. Lieutenant Kiravel, a young Altarian monitoring the traffic control center, stared at her displays in confusion. Control, I'm reading a massive hyperspace distortion. The signature is, I've never seen anything like this. Define massive, replied her supervisor. Sir, the energy output is showing as greater than our entire planetary defense grid. This can't be right. Above Centauri Prime, space itself began to twist. The hyperspace exit point appeared as a growing circle of distorted light, expanding rapidly. Ships throughout the system changed course, moving away from the anomaly. Whatever was coming through was far larger than anything they had ever seen. The UES Retribution emerged from hyperspace like a mountain appearing in an empty field. Captain Daun stood on the bridge, watching the main display as Zentari Prime came into view. Behind her, 40,000 crew members worked at stations throughout the massive ship. The bridge itself was larger than most alien vessels. "Helm, all stop. Position us directly above the planet," she ordered. "Yes, Captain. Taking position." The Retribution moved slowly, its massive bulk casting shadows across continents below. Cities on the day side of Zentari Prime experienced artificial eclipse as 12 kilometers of human warship blocked out their sun. "Communications. Open channels to every receiver in the system," Captain Dayun commanded. Communications Officer Young-Sik's fingers danced across his console. "All channels open, Captain. Broadcasting on every frequency known to galactic civilization." Captain Dayun took a deep breath. This moment would be remembered for thousands of years. "This is Captain Daun of the United Earth Ship Retribution. We have come in response to the unprovoked attack on human colonies in Sector 47. Those responsible will face justice." The response was immediate. Chaos. Every alien ship in the system began emergency broadcasts. Traffic control centers flooded with panicked reports. On the planet's surface, billions of beings looked up at the sky and saw something that challenged their understanding of what was possible. Commander Min Seo was in her quarters on the Vex destroyer Blade of Victory when the alerts began. She rushed to the bridge, expecting to see some minor trading vessel or perhaps a lost exploration ship. Instead, her tactical display showed something that made no sense. "Weapons Officer Zektor, confirm these readings," she ordered. "Commander, sensors show a single vessel, 12,000 meters in length. Energy output equivalent to a small star. I'm detecting weapons systems that... Commander, I don't understand what I'm looking at." Fleet Admiral Kex Nara of the Altarian Navy received the emergency alert while reviewing personnel reports. She immediately transported to the bridge of her flagship, expecting to coordinate response to some minor incident. What she found was every officer staring at displays showing something impossible. "Admiral, the human vessel is... It's larger than our entire battle group," reported her tactical officer. Combined, Admiral Kex Nara had fought in border skirmishes for 40 years. She understood military power. Looking at the sensor readings of the Retribution, she realized that everything she thought she knew about warfare had just become obsolete. On the planet's surface, Chancellor Veltara was conducting routine business when her security staff burst into the council chambers. The golden-skinned leader listened to their reports with growing disbelief. "You're telling me that a single human ship is larger than our capital city?" "Yes, Chancellor. And it's directly overhead. The entire planet is in shadow." Chancellor Veltara had ruled the Galactic Council for decades. She had negotiated treaties, managed trade disputes, and maintained peace through careful political balance. Nothing in her experience had prepared her for this. Back on the Retribution, Captain Dayun watched as alien ships began moving throughout the system. Some were fleeing toward the outer planets. Others were taking defensive positions. Most were simply floating, their crews too shocked to respond. "Captain, I'm receiving over 2,000 communication requests," reported Young-Sik. "Every government, military commander, and news organization in the galaxy wants to talk to us. Ignore them. We're here to deliver a message, not have a conversation." Engineer Wu Jin monitored the ship's systems from his station. "Captain, all weapon systems are armed and ready. Shield generators operating at full power. The fusion cores are running smoothly." Dr. Yunji studied the alien response patterns from her science station. "Captain, their reaction is exactly what we predicted. Complete shock followed by disbelief followed by fear. They genuinely had no idea we possessed this level of technology." The Galactic Defense Fleet began assembling. Admiral Kex Nara coordinated the response, bringing together ships from dozens of species. Within 2 hours, nearly 300 vessels had formed a defensive perimeter around Zentari Prime. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Against any normal threat, it would have been unstoppable. Against the Retribution, it looked like children with toy boats surrounding an aircraft carrier. Captain Dayun studied the alien formations on her tactical display. Weapons Officer Sung-Ho analysis. Commander Sung-Ho had spent 20 years studying alien military technology. "Captain, their largest warship mass is about 2 million tons. The Retribution mass is 200 million tons. Their most powerful weapon generates approximately 50 terawatts of energy. Our main guns produce over 10,000 terawatts each. In simple terms, Captain, this isn't a fight. This is a demonstration. Dr. Haywan prepared her medical teams for the aftermath. Captain, I recommend we target their weapon systems and engines, not their life support. These people have families. Agreed. We're here to end this conflict, not commit genocide. Young Sik reported incoming communications. Captain, Fleet Admiral Kexnara is requesting permission to speak with you directly. Put her through. The main screen showed an elderly Altarian female in an elaborate military uniform. Her blue skin was pale with stress, and her large eyes showed a mixture of fear and professional respect. Captain Daon, I am Admiral Kexnara of the Galactic Defense Fleet. I must ask your intentions. Admiral, our intentions are simple. The beings responsible for attacking human colonies will face justice. We are prepared to use whatever force is necessary to achieve this goal. Captain, surely we can negotiate some resolution. Admiral, 3 days ago, your Galactic Council dismissed the murder of 5 million humans as a minor inconvenience. There is nothing left to negotiate. The transmission ended. Captain Daon turned to her crew. All stations prepare for combat operations. The galaxy is about to learn what happens when you underestimate humanity. Throughout the system, alien crews watched their sensors and tried to understand what they were facing. The humans had hidden their true capabilities for decades, appearing weak and primitive while secretly building something that dwarfed every other military force in known space. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human dominance was about to begin.